So let's start with introductions. And so name and what you do.
All right, well, I'm Annette Jelinus,
Yes, we've been working on that.
and I get it right.
Yeah, every time.
Every time I get it right.
Yes.
So my name's Annette, and I work at the Family Center, and I'm the housing coordinator over there for the homeless.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love my job. Love my job. Did you hear me? I love my job.
I heard you. I heard you. And I'll sit quietly. No,
Hey, my name is Jennifer Archibald. I also work at the Family Center. I have recently come back, and I am the supportive services for Annette, basically.
Okay. So you are a team.
We are a team.
Yeah, okay. So your primary tasking is to help the homeless.
Yes.
So the Family Center, this is the thing we've been talking about as a church, is a God-given vision will meet people at their point of need. Like, that's just a thing. You know, God gives vision, and when he does, he's giving it because there's a need there. So what is or are, what is the need or what are the needs that Family Center really helps out with?
With the homeless, well, sometimes they come in and they're just coming off the street, and if they don't have any source of income, they really can't get a place to live. So we offer him or them things for jobs,
Okay.
where they can apply for a job where they can be able to afford to have their own place. And then we give them a list of housing that we have a new updated list, by the way, with all the new housings that are going up. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just kind of help them that way.
So
When-
it isn't always like we're putting a roof over your head tonight.
No, it's not
A
always
lot of
that.
times it's we're trying to get you into a forever home, or at least
Yes,
a
exactly.
more permanent housing.
And there are some people that are coming off the street, that are
Okay.
living under the bridge, that are needing a sleeping bag or blanket or whatever. It's going to be a while before they can actually get a place of their
Right.
own. So we offer our showers too.
So you offer help and assistance with employment, help and assistance, and this is just one piece
It's
of
one
the
little
Family
piece.
Center. Like that's, there's more that the Family Center does, and that's one of the reasons we love partnering with them. But this particular piece is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, this one here, and we also have a grant that we are working from getting homeless, not veterans, but disabled people off the street.
Okay.
And what we do with that is we pay their rent for a year.
Nice.
And during that year, we help them to either save money or figure out how they cannot be homeless anymore.
Yeah.
And these are usually people who are receiving disability.
Okay.
So we kind of help them that way also.
That's good.
And-
Because a lot of the people that are on the street have some form of disability or some form of issue that has
Yep.
caused them to not retain employment for some reason.
Right.
Now, there are some people who choose to be homeless,
Yes.
but that's not, I mean, that's probably rare, right?
But you know what? Even if they choose to be homeless, you still got to love them where they're at.
Sure.
Because they're choosing to be homeless because they're broken in one way or another.
Yeah, that's a good
And
way of putting it.
You've got to still love them, and you still have to help them.
And sometimes they still need a roof over their head.
Exactly.
Because it's freezing cold outside,
Yeah.
or, yeah,
And sometimes it's just giving them a tent if they don't have a tent,
sure.
you know.
Sure, which keeps some of the outside elements away from it. Keeps them dry, keeps them,
Yep.
yeah. So Jennifer, can you
Yes.
help me with some of the other things that the Family Center does?
Sure. We supplement food for
Yeah.
families once a month.
Okay.
We also,
It's like a once a month food giveaway
no, you can
Or
come
is-
to the Family Center
on a regular basis?
on a regular
Okay.
basis, once a month, and get food. We help with rent, other than the grant money. We can help with utilities. We can help with your Atmos gas bill.
Okay.
As Annette mentioned before, we do have showers on site.
Right.
So if you are homeless, or if you are in a place that doesn't have the facilities that you need. You can come take a shower.
Right.
We have a thrift store called Common Threads.
Yeah, and it's right down the street.
It's
from
right
us.
down the street.
Wayne Street.
Yes.
Like all the good stuff's happening on Wayne Street.
There you go. There you go. So we take donations. It's strictly donations only.
Yeah.
So all that money that is raised from the sale of those items goes strictly back to the family center.
Yeah. To that ministry.
Yes, to anything that is needed. We do serve all of Murray County.
Right.
A lot of people only think that we serve Columbia because we are located in Columbia, and that is where the thrift store is.
Right.
But we serve all of Murray County.
Okay.
So whether you're in Mount Pleasant or on the outskirts of Mount Pleasant, anywhere like that,
Yeah.
we serve those also.
Sweet. So we got food.
Yes.
There's another piece.
Yes,
So you have food, clothing.
yes,
You have rent,
yes,
utilities,
Mm-hmm.
homeless, showers. Like we've gone through a bunch of things.
yes.
But in addition to that, y'all do classes
We do. We
to
do. Mm-hmm.
help people who are in some of those situations.
Yes.
Maybe give them, because I know that there's financial classes.
Mm-hmm.
There's things to help people get to the next level.
Yes.
What are some of those classes?
Well, there is a budgeting class twice
Yeah.
a month. Lisa
Okay.
takes care of those for us. We
Something I
can,
probably need.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
all of us
I think we all
probably
need
need
that.
that, and
Yes.
refresher courses, definitely. We also have, we can do parenting classes. We can do
Yes.
anger management classes. Now, of course, if it's court ordered, it's, you may need to take further,
Right.
yeah, or go somewhere else. But we do offer those
Right.
services.
Yeah.
So,
Just a lot of good stuff going on.
yes,
And one of the things as a church family that we really want to focus in on is the homeless piece. Like that's helping those that are homeless. There's not a whole lot of ministries or avenues to help the homeless in Columbia, Tennessee.
No.
Like we have in Nashville, there is the Nashville Rescue. So there are some of those in other cities, but Columbia doesn't have that per se. Until recently, the Room in the Inn started firing up. We actually, as part of Thompson Station, they used to do a night a month for the Room in the Inn. So there are ways to plug in and be a part of it.
yes,
But I feel like that the Lord's really stirring our Columbia people now, our Columbia churches, our Columbia organizations, to do something about the homeless.
Oh, yes.
And I do think it has a whole lot to do with the cost of living going up.
yes,
And some of our families who weren't homeless before now finding themselves not being able to pay rent. Or, in COVID, obviously the 2 years of, the weirdness of employment and things of that nature hasn't helped with that. So now we find ourselves in this storm. And we want to be a part of helping.
Right.
Because it's like right in the middle of the storm. I do believe that God calls us to be a part of meeting a need. And I think it's more of a need now in Columbia, Tennessee than it has been in a long time. Would y'all agree with that?
I see
or-
that, I see
definitely,
that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got more people coming through my office than I ever did.
We have a tendency to kind of categorize the homeless a certain way. Have y'all seen that sometimes we've missed the stereotype?
Definitely, definitely.
So what have y'all seen? Jennifer, what have you seen with some of the families possibly, who comes in and says, hey, I need a place to stay?
Well, you've got families that have worked forever and have worked hard all their lives. And like you said earlier, with COVID, I mean, they may have lost their job, they may have been laid off, and they've got families, they've got kids.
Sure.
And, I would say that you're seeing more middle class homelessness or living in cars or staying at a friend's or, couch hopping, so to speak,
Right.
now.
Than
Then
we've seen in a long
yes, definitely. Yeah.
Maybe even in our lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I see a lot of anger out there and
Yeah.
a lot of bitterness.
Yeah.
And so these families that are getting together to live with one another because they can't afford to be separated, they're very bitter with each other
yes.
and they're kicking them out and they're just, I don't know, it's just, we need prayers.
Yeah.
We do need prayers.
But in that, with the homeless plight, sometimes there is this bitterness, there is this, when the situation's out of your control or whatever. But I think that's where the church and where people who have a heart to help, that's where they step in and show a love that these people didn't expect. And that is part of the healing.
Yes.
I think it's part of the healing. Somebody actually cares.
And that's, since I've come to help Annette, that's one of my duties, is to call monthly the people that we do have on the grant right now that are
Right.
in the program. And, when I call and check on them, that's basically what they want. They
Yeah.
want somebody to listen. They want
Somebody
to
to care,
vent. They
somebody to
want
listen.
to know that somebody's
Exactly.
on the other end of the phone listening to them, listening into their needs. And
Right.
they just want somebody to listen.
Well, let's face it, none of us really want to be alone.
No.
Now, we pretend.
Yeah.
Sometimes we pull away, but the truth is, none of us want to be
No.
alone. A lot of times we end up being alone because we felt sorry for ourselves and we pulled away. And I have a saying that the Lord gave me a little while back, and that is sometimes the best way for me to get away from depression or get away from that dark place is to get away from me.
Yes.
Because when I'm stuck in my own headspace, I'm stuck in this lonely headspace, I'm my worst enemy. And so sometimes I have to get away from myself. But I think I have enough people in my life that love me enough to reach out to me to pull me out of that space. Some of them, they need that one phone call.
They don't have anybody else.
Yeah. It's such a powerful thing to really, let's face it, this is really all about people and relationships, loving one another. That's what this is
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And then you get to the point of love your neighbor as yourself. Wouldn't we want others as yourself? Wouldn't we
Oh,
want others to reach out
definitely.
to us
Yep. Definitely.
when we're in need? You know?
I lived many years of my life with the golden rule. You do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Yeah.
And I have never forgot that. I learned that little, and that's one thing that I've always strived for.
Yeah,
And I think that's why I love on these people.
yeah. So you don't treat people the way they treat you. You
Oh,
treat
no,
people
no,
the
no.
way
You want to be
you
treated.
want
I
to be
don't think I
treated.
could.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even in me to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the calls aren't fun.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, some of them are probably, like you said, there's a lot of bitterness and anger.
yeah.
And finger pointing.
But
Guilt
it's not,
trips.
but it's not
Yes.
you they're mad at.
No.
It's
no, no,
not
no.
me they're mad at. It's not Jen they're mad at.
Right.
Yeah.
And
We
when
just
you
be the brunt. We're just the brunt.
Yeah.
We take it.
gotta
but-
take it out on somebody.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't we always have to blame somebody?
Yes.
Like somebody has to be to blame. That's half the problem with social media and the news now. Is we got to point a finger at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody's got to be to blame. But why don't we at some point go, hey, why don't we all pull together, quit blaming each other,
And help.
and in unity
Do something.
help.
Yeah.
Let's work towards fixing. And I think that's one of the key things that we're supposed to do is not be a part of the problem, but be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. With
That'll
the
preach.
homeless.
He's
Yeah,
already preached on that.
I think I have preached on that.
Yeah, you have.
And I think I even preached a message about the blame game.
Yep, you did.
But we do have a tendency.
That's when everyone got silent.
And a hush went over the crowd. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, they're just not talking back. Other times, my wife later is like, no, they were processing.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just, sometimes we just have to chew on the message.
Yep, yep. See, I
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yes, you do. And I love the amens. So when you're handing them out, That's a blessing, so
Well,
anytime,
I'll give them out.
doesn't bother me at all. No, I love it.
There's one last thing too is when the homeless actually get into a place, or even somebody who's lost everything,
Right.
even fire, there was a fire, they lost their house, they lost everything. When we get them in a place, and we will give them a box of household items to get started. We'll give them towels, dishes, pots, pans. If we have toasters, coffee pots, oh, that's important,
Yeah.
especially for me. We just
Gotta
give
have
them.
that coffee.
Gotta have that coffee. But it's just, we give them everything that they need to get started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
you
we'll give them a
have-
voucher for clothing for Common Threads as well.
Okay, so that really does give them a start. They'll have some clothes, they'll have
Yeah.
things to get started, they'll have coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Have
It is,
coffee.
it
Big
is.
deal. So,
And speaking of
Nice.
common threads, it is strictly volunteer basis. So everybody that is there working is a volunteer.
okay,
And that's a need. Volunteers are a big need for our organization at the Family Center and at Common Threads.
Yeah.
You know, it's at Common
well, y'all are,
Threads.
so y'all are stocking shelves at the family center with food that's coming in. You're putting clothes in place. You have common threads. People are putting things on the shelves and doing all that work and moving things around. So there's a lot of places for our people to plug in
Definitely,
on a regular basis.
definitely.
And this is, I think, you know, an hour a month or a day a month or a day a week.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
some people can.
Oh, yes.
do
Even
that.
if they need help with their electricity bill or their rent, then if they volunteer at Common Threads for so many hours a month, they get $150, I think it's $150 or $100
Towards their,
towards their rent or utilities.
Utilities.
Yeah,
So we don't pay
That's
money,
good.
but I
Yes.
mean, at least we'll help them that way.
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Teaching work ethic, but at the same time,
exactly.
you know, work and reward, work and reward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're right back to, and it helps someone who's in need, because that's the deal is there's a need, and there's a way to help finance that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Right.
Love it. We have an incredible community. I mean, if you look at Columbia's special, it really is, with all of the different ministries that are working in the churches. They aren't. There's not like this disassociation thing. Everybody kind of knows each other, knows what the other does, and I see a lot of people being kind of passed back and forth. No, they actually can help you with that. Let me get you in contact. That's a special thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a special thing. I love that even with nonprofits, because nonprofits can become competitive. But I don't see that happening in Columbia. We're not competing against each other. We're
We're
trying
helping
to work
each other.
together.
Yes.
Yeah, to fit this.
Oh, you have to have that network
Yeah,
because we all do something different, you know, and it takes all those different things to make the community
yeah,
work and to make the community healthy.
yeah. I think this room in the inn's going to be a big help, even with y'all's homeless ministry itself. That's probably going to be a big deal.
Yeah. I'll probably, I actually been working with Linda, who's head of the room at the inn.
There's another guy, Jeff.
Jeff Kane,
Is that his name? I don't know. Who I think is tied to room in the inn.
Reverend Jeff Kane, yes.
Okay. His name was mentioned yesterday in a conversation I was having, and that's another thing I'm loving about doing these interviews is we're talking about each other. Like there's the room in the inn and all of that. The Boys and Girls Club, you know, they're talking about some of their families that have been evicted, and so that's like their families can benefit from what you're doing,
Right.
and they need volunteers, and so it's like, you know, it's just this beautiful. I think it's just kingdom. You know, watching the kingdom work is a pretty cool thing. Instead of being my ministry minded, being kingdom minded.
Yep.
Definitely. Yep.
So good.
Yep.